Morning, everybody. 8:12 a.m. It is June 13th. Hope everybody's having a good morning. We had a good yesterday. That market, that big gap up with the soft CPI, that just gap that held, and FOMC really didn't matter. Even if they were a slight hawkish, didn't matter. Those CPI numbers mean one thing: inflation's coming down, which is disinflation, not deflation, but disinflation, and that's what the Fed wants to see, right? So that's the bottom line. Markets are holding, right? Couple things in the news: Tesla approved Elon Musk's 56, I think it's 56 billion or 56 million. I can forget. Package, doesn't matter. His package. They're also looking to raise prices on a model, so they're just um, really cruising along. Nvidia's up 2%. So um, of course, semis are powering the Nasdaq. All right, that's what's going on this morning. We'll get into some news. We got PPI today, 8:30. Not sure how much impact that will have on the market, but we will find out. However, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the markets, along with gamma exposure levels, supply and demand, anchored view ups, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day, all to help me just find structure in the market. That's my foundation, okay? So that's where I roadmap out what I'm going to do with trades, as far as day trades in the ES and NASDAQ or the triple Q or the SPY. All right, that's where I map it out. So you'll see that I do this around at 10 a.m. every day. Go over news, go over why stocks are up, down. We look at economic calendar, news, and then we go over scenarios. All right, around 8:30 a.m. And I give my short and my long pre-market plan. Obviously, that could change, but then the market opens, and analyze the market while it opens. All right, so hopefully you can join me every day. You can subscribe and set an alert. All right, show me some love if you like my content, and you can give me a big thumbs up or a like. That would be much appreciated. You could also follow me on X. That's at Gonzo719. Okay, now why don't we get right into the futures watch list? And let's see what's going on this morning. Okay. All right. So the VIX is up 0.75%. Anyway, it was up 13. It's back at 12. All right. There's not a lot of fear in this market. Nasdaq is up 0.73. Now, why is Nasdaq up? Well, you got semis up, and Broadcom reported, and they beat earnings. That's ticker AVGO, and they are also going to do a stock split. I was waiting for that finally to happen because that stock is like 14, 15, whatever, $1,600 a share. I didn't see what the stock split will be, but maybe that will be tradable because it's so expensive, and actually the spreads are not exactly the greatest, but maybe that will bring that stock into the fold, okay? Because that actually has a pretty decent weight in technology, okay? Now the dollar's up 0.3%, 0.30. Bitcoin's up 0.27. ES, what are we doing here? ES is up 0.21. 10-year yield has not reported yet to 5 minutes. The Dow is down 0.21. All right, now think about that. The Dow is down. Okay, Russell's down 0.29. 30-year bonds are being sold. Right, what that means is higher yields this morning. Ether down 0.72. Crude down 0.84. Crude probably still getting profit taking now from that large move from the bottom. Gold's pulling back 1.39% with the dollar strength. Silver is down 3.43%. The more volatile metal is down. All right, moving on to the Max 7 Plus. All right, talked about Tesla, Elon Musk package being approved, and they're looking to raise prices on a certain model. All right, that is up 6.51%. That stock was coiling and coiling and coiling, and it finally is unleashing right now. Okay, now this is this trader's life. I was looking when Tesla really went down the other day. I think it went down to 167. Okay, I literally was like, you know what? Let me take a shot. Now there's a spread option, a spread called a back spread, and I'm not gonna go into too much, but I was looking to put one of those on for a credit. right? Pretty cool spreads and very low risk. And boy, that would be paying me right now. But that's trading. All right, that's just it. You always have those thoughts, and then something happens, right? You got Nvidia up 2.21, Roblox up 0.53, AMD up 0.47. All right, AMD, I'm still liking this. It's not moving that great though. Really not moving that great. It's been in consolidation as well. So, Baba up 0.33, but that like fell out of bed for some reason. That down to 76. That would definitely happened. Something happened with China, probably. All right, all right. And then we go to laggards here. Netflix, Google, communications is kind of down this morning. All right. I believe there's some kind of lawsuit or something. Maybe insider selling. It's saying we don't know. I don't know right now. Top sector stock, semis, Qualcomm. There's another stock that was at 102, and I was planning to buy it, and I just watched it. And that's stocks, right? That's how it is. It's how it is. You watch, you don't do nothing, then you're just like, oh my god, right? Eli Lilly up 0.25. Is there laggards here? United Healthcare. Healthcare took a beating, and financial took a beating yesterday. Um, that's really that matters with techs going up, right? So we got Walmart, PepsiCo. We got a couple staples here. Healthcare. Um, rotated out maybe a little bit, and people went back into like text. It's crazy. This market's just nuts. How these Mag 7s are pushing stuff. Right now, you got Tesla in the mix. Let's see. All right, let's go to sectors. Actually, let's look at the swing trade list. My bad. Leader here. There it is. Avgo, Broadcom. All right, up big, 13.9. Look at that, $1,700 a share. I mean, that's ridiculous. Um, Let's see here. GameStop up 3.61. It looks like Roaring Kitty dumped a lot of his calls yesterday. Marvel, what is that? Arista Networks, Micron, the usual semis. ARM, look at that. Donald Trump stocks up. Supermicro Computers, Vertiv, Shake Shack, Reddit, Carvana, all up a percent. AMC up a percent. Right. Let's look at the laggards. Laggards, Dave & Buster's, not good. Down 9.63, MicroStrategy down 1.23, Texas Instruments down a percent, and gold miners down 9.99. All right, that's rounding out that. Let's move on to the sectors. All right, now here you go. Risk on, semis up 1.59 with Broadcom just on fire. I mean, this is the AI revolution, so the semis are just powering higher. Followed by discretionary. Discretionary is Tesla, Amazon, Home Depot, okay? And technology. So you got the heavyweights right here. That's going to be hard to take down on Triple Q and the SPY. It's really hard when those sectors are moving. That is really rough. All right. We got the safeties here are down a little bit. Utilities, basic materials, healthcare, energy, and the only thing that's out of the mix is communications, right? With Google and Netflix and Meta getting a little negativity there. All right, that rounds out the watch lists. All right, that's what we're looking at now. We can move on to economic news, economic calendar today. What do we have? We have PPI. All right. All right, so I gotta make this out because they don't give you the headline in this little thing here. Okay, so PPI headline looks like we're expecting 2.5 previously. Whoa, let me look at another one here. Let's look at the juice because that one is, let's see here, US PPI year over year forecast 2.5. Yeah, I'm like, they're looking for it to go up. Interesting. So they're looking for a rise in PPI from 2.2 to 2.5. Very, very interesting, right? And they're not putting core up here, so let's go back here. So core PPI, they're looking for 2.4. It was previously 2.4. Very interesting. So they're looking for no change on the core, but they're looking for a rise in the. So that gives a little buffer for the market, right? So what if we come at 2.4? It's still a rise, right? But then it's underneath the expectation. So that should be interesting, right? You have jobless claims also coming out at 8:30. All right, continuous jobless claims. So we have to see. We really just have to see, um, and see if that number does anything, right? I don't know how much it will because CPI is more heavily weighted, right? Unless this number is crazy. Very interesting though. Expecting a zero point 0.3 rise. Very interesting. Okay. Now, what else? What else is going on here? Nice. A couple things to note here. That's not a sneaker. That's a sneaker. I didn't want that to get in there. Let's see here. Now, initiate coverage today. We're just going to go over some of these. Explains. Okay, Chipotle got his rating at a buy. Initiated coverage. Domino's Pizza a rating at a buy. Let's see. Jack in the Box a sell. Wow, you don't see that a lot. A sell. A Jack in the Box. McDonald's neutral. Who else? Starbucks at a buy. Starbucks went up, bottomed out around 75, caught a little love, and now pulled back. But now it's targeted at 100 from Goldman Sachs. Okay. Shake Shack at a buy. Wendy's at a sell. Interesting. Some of these fast food restaurants are not getting some love. All right. Wingstop at a neutral. All right. That's what's really going on there. Let's look at here. And this is what I was talking about. Broadcom's stock soared 14%. The semiconductor group upgraded its annual revenue guidance for its artificial intelligence optimized chips, benefiting from the boom and enthusiasm around AI. I said also they mentioned the split. I don't know about the split yet. What that is, stock rose in Tesla. Stock rose 6.8% after Elon Musk $56 billion pay package was approved. All right, and it looks like they're moving from Texas, from Delaware. They're reincorporated in Texas from Delaware. All right, look at that. Dave & Buster's stock slumped 10% after the restaurant entertainment operator reported another quarter of lagging sales. GameStop rose 3.3% ahead of the video game retailer's annual shareholder meeting later in the session. MicroStrategy stock fell 1% after the business analytics company announced plans to offer $500 million in convertible debt. Okay, that's what's going on there. Let's move over to here. Is there anything I can add here? Alphabet. Here's something going on with Alphabet. Google was hit with a complaint by Austrian advocacy group NOYB for allegedly tracking users of its Chrome web browser, an issue already on EU antitrust regulators' radar. Maybe that's why the little bit of weakness there. Yeah, nothing really to talk about otherwise than that. Yeah, I think we can move on to the daily charts before this 8:30 news pops out. That's obviously not economic calendar and market news, is it? All right, let's look at the daily charts. Big gap up, right? And then we had some weakness. FOMC really didn't do much to spur this exuberance. Where are we at now? 542.75. 542.75. Okay, we're about at the midpoint of yesterday's range. This is the SPY, obviously. Okay. Now you can see this is last week's highs right here. Last week's highs. And then boom. So you gapped up above all these levels, a little bit of an exhaustion gap, and just held it. Right? Because these shorts were not hurt the day before, and instead, boom. Right? Now let's look at futures to see the move. So there's the move, boom. And now we're here. Okay. There's no bearish sign here. So that's what we're looking at today. Let's look at the Qs. Qs already broke out the day before, and then of course put icing on the cake here with the big gap up and held it. They didn't get as weak, so they opened here and closed up here, making a new all-time high. So you have a gap here, right? Where are we at now? 477.70, 477.70. Yeah. See, the Qs are gapping up again. Now, you're gapping up and gapping up. Okay. I'm not a big fader of all-time highs, but yeah, this is getting a little overcooked here. But I need to see some clear signs of some kind of weakening to step in front of this train. All right, let's look at the Qs futures. So there's that big move, boom, and now we're kind of holding up here. Okay. Um, let's see here. Yeah. So we're just trucking along here. Nothing. This market does nothing brings this market down. Okay. Nothing. All right. Now let's look at the triple-headed monster. How that's looking. Let's take a look at that. Now yields have been. Now you could say in a minor downtrend. So let's put that here. Right. Kind of broke this and get rid of that. We could do another trend right there. All right. So yields are now hanging around these webs of moving averages, 200-day moving average, the 100-day moving average. Okay. So you got the support here, 4.2. Right. This is going to help stocks when yields get lowered. We just have to keep a tight eye on this. Okay. Now let's look at that dollar. That dollar had that nice move up, came back down. So the dollar's like in this range. It's caught in this range right here, right? Let's look at this range here. We're caught in this range right here. And you got to break out of that 105 down to like 10, what is that, 104. We're eventually going to take a move. If you move lower, that's good for equities. If you in commodities, if you move higher, that puts weight on the market. All right. We got VIX, and VIX is dead. Okay. We're down here at 12. There's not fear in this market. This is 30 days out of fear. No one's hedging. All right. No one's scared at all. And that is your triple-headed monster. All right. Now we can get over to market profile, volume profile. Look at structure in the markets. Whoa. We just got the data. I'm sorry. We just got the data. So let's see. I just heard big orders hitting the tape. Let's see what we're doing here. All right. So remember what I said before. Oh, geez. Unbelievable. All right. So PPI year over year. Remember what I said? They were expecting it to be hot. 2.5. Guess what? It dipped 0.1. Bullish. Okay. Core dipped 0.1 below the estimate. Jobless claims. Look at this. Triple-headed threat here. Jobless claims were higher than expected. Bullish. All bullish. All right. That is all bullish. Now we can go into the charts. Okay. All bullish stuff here. That 2.5 was almost a give me for the market. You're expecting a rise and it doesn't rise. It goes under. Well under. Okay. Here's our movement in the SPY, the ES right now. I can break it out. There's that just push up from this number. Talk about the market getting gifts this week. Right? I don't know how far that goes. Right? We're pushing up 548. Yesterday's highs are right here, 54.54. So more positivity for the markets. What's going to stop this train? I don't know. Now, like I said, there's been a lot of froth right now. Okay, so there's getting a little selling here now. We'll have to see how this transpires. Really have to see. You're setting up a little range now in this market. I'm going to make this bigger. See if we can get up here. All right. Now we're not breaking yesterday's highs. Interesting. Let's look at structure together. Now again, this is how I look at the markets, right? My preferred way of looking at the market. All right, let's do it. Now you can see clear here. Here's the profile of the last week. This is all makes sense, right? You have the balance, waiting for information, like I talked about, right? Then you get the CPI print, you get the big gap up, and now we're building up value here. Right? Now we're building up value here. Okay. Now, in the 24-hour chart here, the most traded price of the week has moved up, which is bullish, 54.40. This will probably happen today with the RTH one. We'll probably move this up, and this is bullish. It just means that the market is accepting the value higher. That's bullish. You cannot argue that. Okay. The house on the market was valued down here. Well, now the market is saying, well, market prices has raised, and everyone's agreeing that that's a fair price. Okay. Now we have a gap below us, right? Now the ES, we're not gapping up. Okay, we're not gapping up. Now I don't, in the futures you don't go by the close, you go by the highs and the lows. I know in stocks you go by the close, but in futures you don't. Okay, so we're setting up for a weak high here. Yesterday's high, overnight high. That's a potential resistance or breakout point. Okay, right there. Now, one key thing to note. All right? Here is a weak low. Why is that? Right? When I say weak, I'd almost want to change this to confluence low, confluence high. I might even start saying that because weak is a term, but confluence is really what I mean. Because why? Overnight low and the close are equal, right? Overnight low and the close are equal. And guess what else? We're 100% net long in the overnight. 100%. So Broadcom earnings, okay, semis are up. Very important. So you really have clear markers today. Really clear. I want to see one of these areas tested. Okay? That's really what I'm looking at. Because below that, you have yesterday's highs. There's the gap. Big gap all the way down to here. Okay? Market just needs to defend this area. And then you could possibly, boom, break that weak high, right? That's what I'm kind of seeing. Now, it's very interesting that this market got those positive numbers, and we're not breaking yesterday's highs now. It could happen while I'm talking. Okay? So I think I'm ready for some scenarios here. Why don't we do it? All right, it's ES scenarios here. Let's do it. Can this market just keep going? It sure can, boy. All right, so I do not chase. Okay, I do not chase. So, like I said, this week low, I'm going to pay attention to. Right here. I would say this area with the gap in yesterday, right here, you want to pay attention to. Okay. You are 100% net long in the overnight. Okay. So, everyone's a buyer yesterday's close in the overnight. That's very important. Now you're getting thinning volume. Okay. So, two things I want to note here. This is going to be very simple. You got your weak high up here, your weak low here. Okay. This box is a defense for the bulls. This is a possible resistance point and a breakout point. I don't like to trade that at a breakout. I'm not a breakout trader. Okay, so there's another important level here, 54.40, which is now the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of yesterday. That's also a defense point for the bulls. Okay, so first, even if we come up here and push through here, I would like a pullback to see if this gets defended. If the most traded price of yesterday in the week gets defended like this, even if we do this and we can't find acceptance lower, you're going to break out here. That's the breakout. Boom. Then we go higher. Okay. Now, second, this is still not bearish. If, because we're 100% net long on the overnight, you can take care of old business before new business, which just means these overnight hands are weak. They're weak players in the market. They will take profits off the open, even if you drive down here, right? This is where you want to see bulls step in. So if the market comes down here to the week low, first test is the week low. You could just bounce right up, hit here, and maybe find acceptance above to try to break out. Okay? Remember, I'll just put this box down here. Here we go. So that's one. Two, all right, let's go back all the way down to yesterday's lows and the gap. This gap also has singles in here, right here. Now, that's a void, right? There shouldn't be much support there. If there is support in this gap in yesterday's lows, let's just say we just do this and all of a sudden you get in higher lows, right? And the market's strengthening up. Well, there you go. You're going to go up. You might get a little trouble here and then see if you can break out. Okay, now this is a lot of froth. So also what could happen, you could even go up to here, come up there, boop, and then come right back here and balance off the day. It's really all I would be interested in as far as the bull. As far as the bear, okay, what do you have here? Same thing. You have the week high here, overnight highs, overnight lows. You have the week low. Same thing, just different perspective. Okay, so like I said, I really am hesitant on shorts, but this is a reality. We're 100% long in the overnight. Everybody's long. Okay, the most traded price is here. We're already testing that now. See? With that positive number, it could make people take profits, right? We went up there and might made people a little nervous. So this is what I'm talking about. If we hold here, even I'd like a push up to this week high, get people trapped here, come back through this, and then there's lower highs. You're going to test yesterday's most traded price. Where are you going to go next? Here's the most traded price to the overnight. If you take that out, you're testing the overnight lows, which is the week low, which is where the bulls need to defend. But however, if that gets broken, and we start chopping into this gap and holding, you could find yourself filling that gap at 53.86. There's a demand zone here. You could get a little bounce. Boy, would that be something. If you filled that gap and broke this demand, you can go all the way back to the most traded price, 53.60. I don't know if that's in the cards. Okay? I really don't. It's just a scenario. Okay, you could very well stop somewhere here, but they're all scenarios, right? That's all it is. If then statements. That wraps up our ES. Now Nasdaq is a totally different beast right now. It totally looks different. All right, so let's look at that Nasdaq together. Totally different setup. This is what makes this day a little more difficult. Okay, the XLK is 30% weight sector in the S&P 500. Okay, so really the Nasdaq powers most times what the ES will do. You need some weakness in the Nasdaq, and for you to think about a short in the ES, whew, you need to slow down this train, this locomotive. Okay, now I think this supply was broken, so let me just check that. It was. So now this is gone. I'll just move this up so I can use it in the future. But that supply is gone. That was beat. Okay, let's look at our profile. Came out of balance, boom, gap, and now we're trying to build value up here. Now the market has not moved the most traded price at all up here. Hasn't established it because it keeps moving. Now you notice a lot of volume, less volume, less volume. It's called the slope of hope. It's coined by Josh Schuler from Trade by Profile. Slope of hope. Because eventually you run out of participants and then they got to come back. All right. I don't know. I'm not calling that. I'm not calling a top. I don't do that. All right. So let's analyze it. All right. Now we're above all major levels. All right. We're gapping up because here's yesterday's highs. Here's yesterday's lows. Here's the overnight high. Here's the overnight low. Now, a little tip. Overnight highs are not secure, meaning usually don't set an all-time high at the overnight high. It usually doesn't stay an overnight high. Usually you do it in real-time trading hours. That's just a tip. Okay, that usually is not secure, meaning it's not a real high yet until the real-time trading hours open. Okay, now what do we have in the NASDAQ? You are 100% net long. All longs. All longs. Okay, but you have a gap. So here's your highs and lows from yesterday. Here's your overnight low. Here's your overnight high, right? So every time you have a gap, you got to play gap rules. What are gap rules? All right. Most bullish, obviously, is we open and we just go, gap and go. Second most, you fail to fill the gap and you go. Third most, you fill the gap, bounce and go up. All right. What's not bullish is if we come back into range. And moving into range, and that just means buyers are not as strong. Okay, that could be profit taking. Okay, that's how you gauge that. All right. So, how are we going to look at this? What are levels that I see right now that I'm looking at? Okay, first one that jumps out at me, most trader price of yesterday, right here in the overnight low, and the settlement, the close. Okay, that area needs to be defended by bulls. 194.81. Okay, this is bull defense here, and you got single prints in the overnight. That's probably from Broadcom's earnings right here. That's a little toothpick. That is not a lot of volume. Okay, we can make it back there very easily with weakness off the open, but like I said, I don't know. This is a locomotive that's full steam ahead. Okay, so we have a weak low here. That's defense for the bulls, and that needs to be broken by the bears. That's what that means. Okay, now look, the most traded price of the overnight is right up here. Guess what? Who that is? That's longs. That's longs. Okay, so I have a scenario in my head playing out already, and I'm not a fan of shorting, but this could be viable. Okay, let's get into the scenarios. Now remember, I'm not a fan when the ES and the NASDAQ are not in sync, because right now they're not. Okay, so my advice is, right, I'm on a trade which is either weaker or strength. Okay, so generally if I see communications, discretionary, and XLK real strong, and SPY has mixed, I want to be probably long the Qs or the NASDAQ. Okay, vice versa, if like tech is kind of weak but everything else is red, I want to probably most times short the SPY or the ES. Okay, it's a smarter play. Now here's the scenarios. All right, let's do it. Now, like I said, I really like this, but I don't like it at all-time highs. But I have to be honest here. I think it's a decent play. Okay, now remember what I said. Overnight highs are usually not secure. They usually get touched. Also, another tip, 97% of the time, overnight lows and overnight highs get touched in the real-time trading hours. Okay, so that's two stats that could play into this scenario. Because what I think is if this is not secure and I expect this to get touched and it's not a high, okay, I will think here the market will gap and go a little bit, touch, make new highs, don't know how high it will go. Then I want to see it maybe cut through the open, make lower highs. All right. Now, the confirmation that I kind of want to see is this most traded price of the overnight is right here. It's around where the market's at right now, 196.30. You kind of, if you want extra confirmation, you want to break that. And then guess what? You only have the gap fill. Okay, so what it can look like, let's back it up. Let's back it up a little bit. Okay, come through that open, lower high. Come through the most traded price of the overnight. You're going to get some movement here. You're going to hit gap fill. Expect a little bounce. Okay, if the market internals are weak off the open and you break with weakness, this little toothpick, this little single prince is going to get crushed right down to the most traded price. Now you're going to test the area I said that bulls have to defend. You could get a bounce here, but remember, this is a bearish case. If we blow through that and you start holding, you're going to go and touch the top of the gap in yesterday's lows. Now, if it's farther weakness, you will fill that gap. Okay? That's a big move. I don't know if this is in the cards or it's not in the cards. Okay? There's a lot of froth, and like I said, I love it if it wasn't all-time highs, but it's still viable. Okay? Now, longs. This is all about here. This is all about this weak low, this defense for the bulls, and it's all about the gap fill. So, in a bull's case, right? Say everything's strong. Oh, all right, everybody's strong. All right. What I would like to see, gap and go. Go, take out the highs and then come back for the gap fill. And this could be your chance right here to be and go back and see how high we can go. Okay. Secondly, all right, remember we're 100% net short in the overnight. And just to give you, for instance, check this out. Everybody's long from here is getting paid. Everybody's long from here getting paid. Everybody's long from here getting paid. Or everybody's long from here getting paid. Think about if you get some weakness. What do you think they're going to do? Okay. So if you get some profit taking and you fill that gap, fine. And then you got to defend this price right here. If you get a little bounce, boom, 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 people load up, and that could be the big one. If we do come down to here, yesterday's lows, you could get a bounce as well, but I don't expect us to go all the way up there. I would expect us to bounce and probably bounce off. Okay? All right. That's it for me today, guys. I have to cut it short right now. Take my daughter to the bus. All right? Take it easy.